Welcome back to 5 Minute Phys. I'm Dr. Andy Galpin. One of the main reasons I make these videos is to help the average everyday person, even the high-level strength and conditioning professionals, achieve their athletes, clients, and personal goals. And one of the things I've found over the years that frustrates people the most is they work really, really hard, they do an exercise that they absolutely hate, and they don't achieve their goals. So today's video, I hope, will clarify some of the reasons why you might be failing or missing your athletes or your own personal goals. All right, and the first thing we have to consider is a situation where somebody says something like this. Hey, I want to get X results, so I've got to do Y exercise. A couple of easy examples. I want to lose some weight, therefore I have to start jogging or have to hit the elliptical or swimming. Now, if you've seen any of my fat loss videos, you know my answer to all those. But the same thing could be happening on the other end of the spectrum. I want to get stronger, therefore I feel like I have to squat. Or there's no way to get more powerful without doing box jumps. And those concepts, while kind of true, they're actually fundamentally wrong. We need to learn to think about this at a much larger scale. Because when in fact, the exercises themselves, so the exercises you choose to do, don't determine the outcome or the adaptation you get. That's actually more predicated on how you execute the exercise itself. It's not the exercise you select, but more about how you execute it that matters. So if you look at this multiple choice question I've developed for you, and you looked at the left-hand side and I said, okay, choose the correct answer. You would look at bicep curl and say, okay, that's the exercise I pick to get hypertrophy, to get bigger arms. And a snatch is what I pick to get more powerful. And a deadlift is for strength and ellipticals for endurance. While those are totally true, you can use a snatch to get more powerful and you can definitely get stronger with a deadlift. It's not fundamentally true that the exercise itself determined the second column, the adaptation. For example, you could do a bicep curl and definitely get bigger. But you could also use a bicep curl to improve your endurance if you just did a lot more repetitions of it. You could also, it's funny to sort of think about, I know, but use a bicep curl for power if you did it light and powerfully. In fact, the same could be done on the end of the spectrum with the elliptical. You can definitely improve your endurance, probably not improve your strength very well unless you're very weak, but you could do it for power if you just sprinted up the elliptical a couple of steps. Right? That's no different than running stadium stairs, as long as you took some breaks in between it, recovered fully, and made sure you maximize power output. So I'm hoping we can expand the conversation about the exercises we think we have to select to get the adaptation or the outcome or the result that we're looking for. Now, I think Dietz does a very nice job of explaining this. I did a recent podcast with him on Barbell Shrugged you can check out, and if you're not familiar with Cal's work, he's the head strength and conditioning coach for the University of Minnesota. Now, when he does his cardio programs or his workouts for his Division I football players, he doesn't have them jog for a half an hour. That's going to be really hard for a 350-pound offensive lineman. So his cardio is still a 30-minute workout, but they do one repetition of the bench press at 50% of their max strength, one repetition of the squat at 50%, and they just keep repeating that circuit. So one squat, one bench, one squat, one bench, and they don't stop for 30 minutes. And so he chose a different exercise. He didn't choose a rower or a bike or the pool or elliptical or anything like that. He used a bench and a squat to get the same adaptation. On the end of the spectrum, you could be using something like box squats, or box jumps, excuse me. And you may be getting more powerful, but you may also be saying, I've been doing box jumps for 6 months and I'm not getting any more power. I'm not jumping any higher in my vertical jump. Well, ask yourself, how are you executing the box jump? Are you jumping up 35 times in a row? Then you're not going to get more powerful. You have to be executing it powerfully to get more power. This means like one repetition, maybe 2 or 3. Take a break, fully recover. If you're doing it 30 times in a row or as many reps as you can do in 5 minutes, that's actually an endurance exercise now. It's no longer a power exercise because you're jumping at such a low relative power output to sustain it over time. Right, so to summarize what I mean here, the exercise itself does not determine the adaptation, it's the application. How many reps in a row, how many sets did you do, what was your rest, how heavy, what was the speed. Things like that actually determine whether or not you improve your speed, power, strength, grow muscle, lose fat, whatever. Now, the exercises themselves do have some relevance, of course. So if I select a bicep curl, I can't expect to get stronger in my hamstring, right? So the exercise that I select does regulate things like the movement plane, so whether I'm rotating this plane or moving in this plane, the muscles or the joints that are being activated, the contraction type, eccentric, concentric, isometric, and technical proficiency, right? So don't select an exercise that I want somebody to do for maximum power if they don't know how to do the exercise. They're clearly going to have to compromise speed or technique or safety to execute the movement, and we never want to do that. All right, so the key point, while the exercise selection is important, it doesn't solely select the adaptation we're going to achieve.